Now the second part of this section, the continuation, is finding the distance between 2 points that are in a three-dimensional coordinate system. Okay, so we could have three-dimensional coordinate system, and in this case we are talking about having an x-axis, having a y-axis, but then we have a third axis, which is the z-axis. In order triple, x, y, z is used to locate a point in a three-dimensional coordinate system. The point 3, 2, 4 is graphed at the right. So on the x, this is the positive 3. On the y, this is the positive 2. And the z, it's 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's at this level 4. So this is a point that is on a three-dimensional coordinate system. If we want to find the distance between 2 points on a three-coordinate system, we use a distance formula, which is the square root. And see, notice that this is kind of like the distance formula that we use on a two-coordinate system. X sub 2 minus x sub 1 quantity squared plus y sub 2 minus y sub 1 quantity squared. But we're adding a third coordinate point, which is z sub 2 minus z sub 1 quantity squared. And we're also going to use the midpoint formula. The midpoint of a segment with endpoints is the same thing as the midpoint when you have two coordinate points, like two coordinate axes. We're just adding one more, so just comma z sub 1 plus z sub 2 divided by 2. Okay, so in problem number 1, it says find the distance between the given points and also find the midpoint of the segment with the given endpoints. Round to the nearest hundredth. So in problem number 5, we need to find the distance. Let me just make this a little bigger. So if I need to find the distance, I need to label the points first. X sub 1, y sub 1, z sub 1, and then x sub 2, y sub 2, and z sub 2. So when I put it into the distance formula, and the distance formula is the differences of the x's, x sub 2 minus x sub 1 quantity square, and then plus the difference of the y's, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 quantity square, and then the z, z sub 2 minus z sub 1 quantity square, and then we get the square root of the whole thing. So we substitute the numbers. So when I substitute the numbers, this is going to be d equals, and then the square root. We substitute the numbers. X sub 2 is 6 minus 0 quantity square. Y sub 2 is 8 minus 0 quantity square. And then is 2 minus 0 quantity square. And then just put all of that in the calculator. So when you put that in the calculator, the distance is approximately 10.20. Okay, so that's the distance. And that is approximately. So let's put those squiggle lines for the approximate symbol. So now, the midpoint. Okay, well, the midpoint is basically the same formula that we've been using. We're just adding a third coordinate, which is the z. So the distance formula, the midpoint formula, it's m equals, we add the x's, we divide that by 2, comma, we add the y's, y sub 1 plus y sub 2 divided by 2, comma, and then we add the z, so it's z sub 1 plus z sub 2 divided by 2. And then we plug in the numbers. So for the midpoint, when I add the x's, this is 0 plus 6, and then you get half of it. The y's, 0 plus 8, you get half of that. And then the z's, 0 plus 2, and then you get half of that. So when you simplify that, 6 divided by 2, that is 3. 8 divided by 2, that is 4. And 2 divided by 2 is 1. That is the midpoint between those 2 points on a three-dimensional coordinate plane, okay? Now go ahead and try problems numbers 6, 7, and 8, and then we'll check that. So at this point, pause this video, try those problems, and then you can check your answers, okay? Okay, problem number 6, you're supposed to have the distance is, you label the points x sub 1, y sub 1, z sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, z sub 2. And then we just have to the numbers, that would be 4, which is over here, 4 minus a 0, and then plus 8 minus a 6, quantity square, and then plus 0, which is the 0, minus a 0, which is quantity square, and that gives you 4.47. And then for the midpoint, it's 0 plus 4, and then divided by 2, and then it's 6 plus 8 divided by 2, and then it's 0 plus 0, then divided by 2. So that's supposed to be 2, 7, and 0. For problem number 7. Number 7, the distance is supposed to be 3.46 when you plug in the numbers, and the midpoint is 8.5 and 5.5 when you plug in the numbers. For problem number 8, your answers are supposed to be the distance is 4.24 approximately, and the midpoint is 2.5, 3.5, and 3. So at this point, you have an assignment. You may go ahead and start working on the assignment, and this assignment is due tomorrow. Okay, have a wonderful afternoon or have a great day, and I'll see you in class.